AI tech news, kind of philosophical aspect around AI revolution and the AI discussion. Make sure if you haven't watched the first episode again, go and watch that episode as well. And then we need massive amounts of data. So data company matters as well. So true of kind of the AI revolution that started in 2012 with Ilya Sutskever, Jeff Hinton, and Alex, which used CUDA to process AlexNet. And that was one of the major starting points of the AI revolution. So laptop, which is crazy. Oh my God. It's wild.
Hey, come and step into the future. It's a tech revolution. Artificial intelligence. It's an AI movement. Tune into the show. Let's go. Time to start it up. This is next level. This is AGI with Arshia. Yeah, from robots to self-driving cars. AI is really here to stay. Join the conversation today. And we talking all the latest trends. Trust you don't want to miss a thing. It's an AI revolution. Talking robots and humans. Let's go. This is AGI with Arshia, AI Revolution. Let's go.
All right, welcome to AGI with Arshia podcast. This is the second episode. If you haven't watched the first episode, go and watch that one as well. Today we have a lot of topics to discuss. From AI tech news, we have a lot of news, man. Like I think every week. There is going to be in 2025 there's going to be a lot of AI tech news. So we're going to have three parts. If you haven't watched the episode, the first one, I just want to kind of do a kind of overall view of what I'm going to do in this second episode of AGI with Arshia podcast. So there are going to be three parts. The first part is going to be AI tech news. The second part is going to be kind of philosophical aspect around AI revolution and the AI discussion. And the third part, my favorite part, is going to be kind of tech comedy club, and you're going to be laughing your ass off when you're finishing this episode. So again, welcome to AGI with Arshia podcast. Let's just review the topics for today for AI tech news. The first thing I want to go through is CES 2025, wild kind of event. I wish I was there maybe next year. And then I'm going to talk about Sam Altman announcing that OpenAI is losing money on ChatGPT Pro subscription plan, but OpenAI also announced that they know how to build AGI, like they're confident. They also predicted that the upcoming AI agents entering the workforce in 2025 will be wild, which I'm going to talk about. And of course, their partner Microsoft announced $80 billion investment in the AI for this year. And after that, I'm going to talk about the UFC president. Dana White joined Meta board members. It's a wild move for Zuckerberg. And of course, I'm going to talk about Zuckerberg announcing that Meta has decided to replace its third-party fact-checking program with a community note. Wow, so they're trying to adapt themselves to Trump's administration in 2025. And then I'm going to talk about Elon Musk. Grok3 is coming, and XAI will soon be launching in Tesla vehicles. Also, XAI is also now a separate app from X, which is good news for Elon. And speaking of Elon, still he's messing around with Sam Altman on OpenAI being closed source and of course for profit, going from kind of capped profit to completely for profit and closed source. Elon is showing support and he's concerned again for AI safety by saying Jeff Hinton, aka the godfather of AI, is a good man. We're going to compare his thoughts on how the AI revolution is similar to the Industrial Revolution back in the mid-80s and on making human capabilities irrelevant and meaningless with the comments from Stuart Russell, Neil deGrasse predictions on the AI revolution by 2050. Then I'm going to talk about Jeff Bezos deployed 750,000 robots into Amazon, resulting in fewer human jobs, which is wild. And then Emirati billionaire Hussein Sajwani, chairman of Damac Properties, announced $20 billion investments building data centers across the United States, of course, because of Donald Trump's relationship with him. And after that, I'm going to talk about the data centers and the power grid as well. Google DeepMind is forming a new team led by former co-lead of OpenAI Sora to develop AI models that simulate the physical world. And then I'm going to talk about loneliness and humanoid robots solution. That's wild, man. That's going to be a great discussion. And after that, coming back home, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer introduced AI growth zones to build data centers and enhance energy access. Private firms pledging 14 billion pounds in AI infrastructures investment, and starting AI could boost the economy by 47 billion pounds annually, which is wild in the UK. And then I'm going to recap and conclude all the tech AI news. In the second part, I'm going to talk about intelligence, memory, computation, learning. What does it mean to be kind of intelligent? What does computation mean? What is the process that we call learning? And of course, we're going to talk about memory states as well. And the last part is Tech Comedy Club. So make sure if you haven't watched the first episode again, go and watch that episode as well. That was a great episode. If you haven't subscribed to the channel or haven't watched the other videos, make sure that you subscribe and support us. So let's just go right into the podcast. First, I just want to talk about CES 2025, specifically NVIDIA in CES. Okay. So there has been I think eight announcements in NVIDIA CES 2025. First of all, I just want to go through the overall NVIDIA's journey review that Jensen Huang kind of talked about in CES. So the NVIDIA journey started back in 1993 with NV1 with the goal of building computers that could do something that other normal computers couldn't do. So that was the first goal with NV1 back in 1993. And that made it possible to have a game console on your PC. And then it was 1999. I guess it was programmable GPU, which led to modern computer graphics. And then it was 2006 with the CUDA. They tried CUDA to explain and express the programmability of their GPUs in NVIDIA back in 2006. And then the breakthrough of kind of the AI revolution started in 2012 with Ilya Sutskever, Jeff Hinton, and Alex, which used CUDA to process AlexNet. And that was one of the major starting points of the AI revolution. So, Deepo, if you have the image from the NVIDIA that shows like 2012 to kind of present time of the AI revolution, pull that up, man. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see from AlexNet's event in 2012, AI started from perception AI. So what does perception AI means? Perception AI can understand images, sounds, and words. Okay. And then it kind of evolved to generative AI, which can generate images, sounds, and text. And now in 2025, one of the major points of the AI revolution is going to be agentic AI. AI that can perceive, reason, plan, and act. And the next wave of AI would be physical AI, which can include self-driving cars, it can include general robotics. So that's kind of the plan that we have for AI in 2025 and beyond. And in my opinion, 2025 is going to be the year of agentic AI, which will be the AI agents in workforce and workplaces in different fields. And of course, it's going to be physical AI, including autonomous vehicles like Tesla and general robotics like humanoid robots like Optimus for Tesla as well. So that's going to be wild in this year and beyond. So we don't need that picture, Depot. Yeah, we don't need that. Um, in 2018, if you remember, the first kind of form of transformer started with Google Birds. And that was a crucial change of landscape in AI and computing. And that was the moment that we realized AI is different from programming, from instructions, from coding. And it's going to be machine learning, and it's going to be kind of a neural network models that we can expose them with massive amounts of data, and they can learn like a child by themselves. So that's how we differentiate the traditional coding instruction and CPU software with machine learning neural network GPU AI from 2018 event and the release of the first for transformer Google BERT. So that was the overall NVIDIA's journey review that Jensen Huang shared in CES 2025. The first update that Jensen Huang shared was GeForce RTX Blackwell 5090, so 50 series. GeForce kind of enabled AI to reach the masses because it's the backbone of hardware, and it's one of the main cores of the AI training process. I always say why. I think back in 2024, when everyone was saying Nvidia stock price is going to be a bubble, I was saying no. Why? Because Nvidia is producing one of the main cores and one of the main parts of the AI training process. So we need the hardware GPU, which is produced by Nvidia, and of course AMD, but massively produced by Nvidia, and they are the pioneer in this hardware part. And we need electricity, so data centers matter. And then we need massive amounts of data, so data company matters as well. So those are the three, and of course we need the large language model, the LLM foundational model as well. So those are the 3 to 4 main parts, and Nvidia was producing and is still producing the one of the main cores and the hardware in this AI revolution for AI training process. So of course they are not a bubble. And I was shouting out, like I was sharing this to everyone. Hey, Nvidia stock price is not going to be a bubble. It's going to be wild. And I think they are one of the pioneers, and they are one of the forces and the main players in this AI revolution. So, Deepo, pull the pull the video of the new GeForce RTX Blackwell introduced by Jensen Huang. So let's see that. Yeah, it's wild. Oh my god. It's wild. This one is amazing. This one is amazing. So that's it. Okay. Wow. The GeForce RTX Blackwell is amazing, man. I mean, come on. So it has 2x the speed of the 40 series and 49 series. And it is powered by AI, gaming, and creativity, which is amazing. The shader can carry neural networks which is new, and AI is making its hardware now. So it's a sign of the Life 3.0 and the digital superintelligence, because now AI can redesign its hardware. And we humans, as Homo sapiens, we can't like remarkably redesign our hardware. Of course, we can do like gene sequencing, we can do some gene editing with CRISPR and other methods, but still we can't do like we can't change remarkably our initial design like in DNA without doing some wild mutation which will lead to the destroying our body, or a kind of cancerous producing cells. So that's the sign of super digital intelligence and Life 3.0. If you want to compare the speeds versus fees for the RTX 4090, I think it's yeah, RTX 4090, the price is um 1599, which is the fastest GPU now on Earth. And we have RTX 5070, which has the 4090 performance, and you can just upgrade it by $549. Yes. And now the RTX 5090 has twice the performance of 4090. And the price is not twice. The price is just nearly like $2,000. So as you can see, there's no linear increase between the speed and the price. And that's impossible without AI. Designing its hardware, bringing down the cost to increase the performance massively. And that's going to be something that I'm going to talk about when I'm talking about computation part 2 of this episode. So bear with me on that one. And it managed to put these gigantic GPUs into the laptop, which is crazy. If you can pull that up, a depot, the picture of RTX 5070 laptop, which is nearly $1,300, and put the video up, which Jensen is talking around putting the GPU in the laptop as well. So let's go.
Can you imagine? You get this incredible graphics card here, Blackwell. We're going to shrink it and put it in there. Does that make any sense? Well, you can't do that without artificial intelligence. And the reason for that is because we're generating
this is wild.
Most of the pixels using our tensor cores. So we ray trace only the pixels we need, and we generate using artificial intelligence all of the other pixels we have. As a result, the energy efficiency is just off the charts. The future of computer graphics is neural rendering, the fusion of artificial intelligence and computer graphics.
Okay, yep. We don't need that anymore. So that's wild, man. And that was the first update for NVIDIA. It was GeForce RTX Blackwell 50 series, which has twice the performance, but the price is so low regarding the 2x speed and the performance upgrade for 50 series. So the second update of NVIDIA was Blackwell Giant chips and NVLinks. GeForce kind of democratized the AI. So what does AI democratization means? AI democratization means putting AI in the hands of users, okay, without specialized AI or even technical knowledge. So anyone can use AI in their own field and enterprise without needing to have the technical knowledge of AI or machine learning or deep learning or neural networks. And that's how the GeForce democratized AI. And AI democratization by its hardware is a massive improvement and advancement in the AI revolution. So that's important. I want to talk about scaling law, which Jensen talked about in CES 2025 around NVIDIA. And scaling law shows that the more training data you have and you give to the larger model, the more compute you apply to it. Therefore, the more effective or capable your model will become. And that's kind of wild, because Jensen said internet is producing double the data each year. And according to him, I think humanity will produce more data than all the data that humanity has ever produced in this year, 2025, which is wild. So gigantic amount of data production is ahead of us in this year. And all these data can be used to train foundational knowledge of AI models. So if you can pull the picture of Jensen Huang pre-training scaling to post-training scaling up, yes, that one, exactly. So as you can see, he talked about the pre-training scaling, which we expose the foundational model to massive amounts of data. And after that, there are two other scaling laws. One is post-training scaling, which uses technique like reinforcement learning and human feedback with high-quality prompts to help AI refine its skills after generating in the first place. So that's kind of wild. And then we have test time scaling law, which is when AI is being used, and AI has the ability to apply different resource allocation instead of improving its parameters. So like reasoners, like if you use chat GPT now or O3 model, you can see that it's a reasoner. So it tries to give you answers step by step, or it gives you different responses, or it thinks actually like it takes 10 seconds if you use Grok, or maybe sometimes like less, 5 seconds to give you the answer. So that's kind of the reasoners, and those are the next ones that and the current ones that with the O3 and O3 mini model OpenAI is trying to achieve. And that's where the test time scaling law comes. So we don't need the picture anymore, Depot. And then Jensen Huang introduced the giant Blackwell hips. Why he introduced that? He introduced that because of scaling laws, we need a huge amount of computation to train our models and to build better intelligence to solve complex problems. In part 2, I'm going to talk about intelligence and how does it relate to solving complex problems regarding its definition. But for now, let's just look at the giant Blackwell hips introduced by Jensen Huang. Let's just look at that one. Put that up, Depot.
You don't ever want to reach your hands into a dark place. Hang on a second. Is this a good idea? All right.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Wait for it. Wait for it. I thought I was worthy. Apparently, Yonir didn't think I was worthy. All right. This is my show and tell. This is a show and tell.
Wow, that was wild. You know, the way that Jensen Huang introduced this giant Blackwell hips, it reminds me of the movie Avengers and the Thor, the god of thunder. You know, you have to be worthy to get that hammer, and Jensen seemed not worthy, you know, and the audience was dead in CES. Come on, Huang is there, like one of the main players in the AI revolution. Give him some respect and try to, you know, clap for him. I mean, he doesn't need your clap, but just it is a respectful manner. Anyway, he talked about huge NVLink, and they ship these to data centers. And the NVLink, why we need NVLink? Because in the future, because of AI hardware, there are going to be a lot of GPUs used in the AI hardware. Okay, and these AI hardwares need to like interconnect to each other, so they have to be connected to each other in a fast way, and that's where NVLink comes to the play in the ground. So that's important. And the fact that in one generation of Blackwell, they reduced the cost of training models by a factor of 3, and that's a factor of 3 per dollar. So if they want to like increase the size of the model by 3, the cost will be the same. And that's crazy. That's crazy. Of course, every data center is limited by its power. So the performance per watts of the new Blackwell is like 4 times the last generation. And when the performance is 4 times, it means the revenue is 4 times, and that's going to be wild. And that's why we need a huge amount of computation. So we need huge chips like this new Blackwell introduced by Jensen Huang. And that was the second update, the Blackwell giant chips and NVLinks. The third update was agentic AI. I told you about agentic AI just like I think 5 minutes ago. Agentic AI is the kind of AI that understands and try to just reason the kind of way through the answer as well. So it can perceive, it can generate, it can understand, and it can do a kind of logical way of answering. And agentic AI is a perfect example of test time scaling law. In the future, many AI models will work together in the background. So like customer service or any other kind of fields. NVIDIA indirectly wants to integrate its AI technology into different software, the way that they did back in 2006 with CUDA, okay, to explain the programmability of their GPUs. They want to integrate AI into libraries with 3 kind of methods to help the agentic AI grow. First is NVIDIA NIMs, which is AI microservices. The second is NVIDIA NEMO, which is digital employee and AI agents in the workforce, which is mentioned by Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, and others as well. So 2025 is going to be the year of agentic AI and, of course, physical AI in the world of autonomous vehicles and the general robotics like humanoid robots like Optimus. One kind of important things that Jensen Huang said is wild. He said 2025 is going to be the year of AI agents, and in the future, the IT department of every company will be the HR department of AI agents. Let's have a look. Deepa, pull that up. Let's go.
The IT department of every company is going to be the HR department of AI agents in the future. Today, they manage and maintain a bunch of software from the IT industry. In the future, they'll maintain, nurture, onboard, and improve a whole bunch of digital agents and provision them to the companies to use. Okay,
This is wild.
Your IT department is going to become kind of like AI agent HR. And on top of that, we provide a whole bunch of blueprints.
Wow, that's wild. So that's it. We don't need that depot. That's wild. I mean, the kind of now AI agents are going to be in workforce, and that's where agentic AI comes from. What a wild prediction from Jensen Huang. So also the third thing, like after NVIDIA NIMs and NVIDIA NEMO, the third thing that NVIDIA is trying to use to help the agentic AI grow is the blueprints. And that's kind of wild. Also, they announced foundational models based on NVIDIA Llama language models, which are wild. And AI agents are going to integrate into IT industries and their partners. They shouted out to Perplexity and they said they have done a great job with search engines. And I think they are going to be one of the main competitors. Like they are, I think, the only startup that might actually, be a threat to Google search engine, because Google has been a monopoly of search engine for a long time. I think for 2 decades now, more than 2 decades. So that's I think Perplexity is doing a great job, but let's see how they will become this year and in the next 2 years. So the next giant AI application and service period is going to be software coding, and Zuckerberg also said that in Rogan interview. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but for now, let's look at Jensen predicting that AI agents are the next robotic industry likely to be a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. So let's have a look. Deepo, pull that up.
Next giant AI service period is software coding. 30 million software engineers around the world. Everybody is going to have a software assistant helping them code. If not, obviously you're going to be way less productive and create lesser good code. And so this is 30 million. There's 1 billion knowledge workers in the world. It is very, very clear AI agents is probably the next robotics industry and likely to be a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity.
That's it. We don't need that anymore. Wow, that was wild. I mean, of course, the robotics industry is going to be multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. I mean, that's why I think OpenAI has announced that they are going to start their they're going to start their robotic humanoid robotic um industry in this year as well. So that's why everyone is trying to start robotic industry, because agentic AI, physical AI is going to be the next wave of the AI revolution in 2025 and beyond. So that was the third update of agentic AI in NVIDIA CES. And the fourth one was AI PCs, because they want AI PCs and, you know, they want to revolutionize the industry using the Nemo blueprints, and AI PCs are coming soon, Jensen Huang said. The fifth update of NVIDIA in CES 2025 was physical AI with Cosmos, the world foundational model that is designed to understand the physical world. So let's first have a look at this video of Jensen Huang explaining the NVIDIA Cosmos, the first world foundational model, and after that I'm going to talk about it. Let's go. Deepo, pull that
We're
up.
announcing NVIDIA Cosmos, a world foundation model that is designed, that was created to understand the physical world. And the only way for you to really understand this is to see it. Let's play it. The next frontier of AI is physical AI. Model performance is directly related to data availability, but physical world data is costly to capture, curate, and label. NVIDIA Cosmos is a world foundation model development platform to advance physical AI. It includes auto-regressive world foundation models, diffusion-based world foundation models, advanced tokenizers, and an NVIDIA CUDA, an AI-accelerated data pipeline. Cosmos models ingest text, image, or video prompts and generate virtual world states as videos. Cosmos generations prioritize the unique requirements of AV and robotics use cases, like real-world environments, lighting, and object permanence. Developers use NVIDIA Omniverse to build physics-based, geospatially accurate scenarios, then output Omniverse renders into Cosmos, which generates photoreal, physically based synthetic data. Whether diverse objects or environments, conditions like weather or time of day, or edge case scenarios. Developers use Cosmos to generate worlds for reinforcement learning AI feedback to improve policy models, or to test and validate model performance, even across multi-sensor views. Cosmos can generate tokens in real time, bringing the power of foresight and multiverse simulation to AI models, generating every possible future to help the model select the right path. Working with the world's developer ecosystem, NVIDIA is helping advance the next wave of physical AI.
Okay, that's wild. NVIDIA Cosmos, everyone. What the first worst foundational model? We don't need that anymore. So the reason why virtual reality and NVIDIA Omniverse matters to train physical AI, because they are trained and they are virtual reality based on the physical nature of our reality, the physics, they are following the rules of physics, okay? So they can be used to train uh, like humanoid robots. So we can prevent the errors and the cost of, mm, errors of robots in the actual and the physical world by training them in a simulation in a virtual reality like NVIDIA Omniverse. And we can use the foundational model of um, NVIDIA Cosmos to train them. So that's going to be wild. And that's why simulation and VR matters. Like I remember I in the first episode of, this podcast, I said um the kind of VR glasses, VR goggles of Apple, it wasn't a revolutionary product. And I think I was right. It wasn't a revolutionary product. I mean, compared to iPhone when Steve Jobs announced that. But in the future, it will be, because those goggles are going to be used to generate moves uh, in the virtual reality, in the simulation, when humans are using them. And those moves, they we are going to use those moves as data to train the actual humanoid robots in the omniverse using this foundational model Cosmos. So those are going to be what, like both Meta Ray-Ban glasses or the VR goggles of Apple. Those are going to be wild, I think, this year and the next year in 2026 as well. So those are going to be so good. So Cosmos was trained on 20 million hours of video, the world's first foundational model. 20-hour video focused on physical dynamic on things like nature, themes, humans walking, hands moving, manipulating things, and fast camera movements as well. So, and of course, it's open source. It's open license, and it's available on GitHub, which is amazing. There are three computers that you need to train, kind of, for every robotic factory, you need three computers. Deepo, if you can pull that up, of DGX, AGX, and the Omniverse with Cosmos, the three computers. So the first computer you need to train the AI model is DGX, which I think is familiar to you because they used DGX, I think, back in 2016 for the first time. NVIDIA and Elon and OpenAI, they tried to use this to train GPT. And you need computer to deploy the AI inside the robot or the autonomous vehicle or car. So you need AGX. And you need the computer to connect the two, like, digital twin Omniverse with Cosmos. So those three computers you need in every robotic factory, according to Jason Huang. And it's going to be wild because industrial digitalization will happen, like automation will happen, and everyone wants to use Omniverse to digitalize their own industry, because we have so much waste as a human, in $50 trillion world's GDP. So we can increase the efficiency and we can decrease the cost. And in the future, like, every factory will have a digital twin, and they can use Omniverse to produce different scenarios and see which one is more efficient in case of costs. So that's going to be wild in the future. So the physical AI was the fifth announcement in NVIDIA CES 2025. The sixth announcement was autonomous vehicles. And, Jensen mentioned Tesla's success and revolutionized autonomous vehicles. And NVIDIA offers three computers to train the AI, deploy the AI, and the Cosmos, which I talked about them. NVIDIA has announced a Toyota partnership to create next-generation AVs. So other companies are trying to uh, become autonomous as well. So that's going to be wild. He predicted that autonomous vehicles would be the first multi-trillion-dollar robotic industry. Let's have a look at uh, that video depot. Pull that out.
And so this is going to be a very large industry. I predict that this will likely be the first multi-trillion-dollar robotics industry. This business for us,
Wow, that was wild, man. That was wild. So it's going to be $1 trillion industry. I mean, I think regarding Tesla, the stock price of Tesla is going to be wild in the next 4 years because of both autonomous vehicles and Optimus humanoid robots. So that's going to be wild, man. And they announced Thor, a robotics computer for cars, AV computer to predict the moves in the row, which makes it safer. And I think Elon said the same. So it's going to prevent the amount of accidents happening in the rows, and it's going to be much safer at the end comparing to human drivers. So that's going to be wild, man. And that's great for society in case of transportation. The seventh announcement in NVIDIA was for robotics, okay? Jensen said something so crucial, man. He said, the Chat GPT moment for general robotics is just around the corner. Let's have a look at that one. Depot, pull that up, man.
humanoid robots, my friends, the ChatGPT moment for general robotics is just around the corner.
Wow, that was wild. Wow, that was wild. Okay, we don't need that anymore. Agentic robots in the workforce, autonomous vehicles, and humanoid robots. Like, if we can solve those three problems, I think that would be revolutionary in case of AI and this golden age of AI, you know. So that's going to be wild, man. And NVIDIA Isaac Group will provide technologies for robotic industry as well. So that's going to be great. The last announcement of CES 2025 regarding NVIDIA was Project Digits, which is the abbreviate for Deep Learning GPU Intelligence Training Systems. DGX-1 revolutionized artificial intelligence with OpenAI, as I told you. And supercomputers is going to be wild for AI researchers and startups. So first, let's look of what is Project Digits. Pull the video up of announcement of Project Digits Depot.
And so I just wish that DGX-1 was smaller. And imagine, ladies and gentlemen,
That's wild. That's wild. I want one of those, man. I want one of those here in my desk.
NVIDIA's latest AI supercomputer. And it's finally
that's it. That's it. Okay, we don't need that. So, an AI supercomputer powered by the groundbreaking Grace Blackwell super chip, offering unmatched speed and efficiency, which is, small size, only $3,000 for everyone. I mean, it's amazing. Also, I think Jensen Huang said if you have a better name for Project Digits, just get in touch. I asked Grok, what do you think will be the better name for Project Digits? And Grok said Tinderbox. So Jensen, if you're watching this episode, Tinderbox would be a great one for an alternative way of describing Project Digits. I want one of those. It's $3,000. I mean, come on, it's a supercomputer in your home, in your desk. That's how close AI is is integrated into our daily life. So that's going to be wild. Those were all the announcements for NVIDIA CES 2025. And then NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang had a kind of interview with Bloomberg, and The man who interviewed Jensen Huang after CES was, I think, Ed Ludlow. Yeah, it was Ed Ludlow, and he tries to be natural in case of politics, you know. Uh, but he tried to kind of ask Jensen Huang about Trump's and Elon's relationship affecting Elon's supremacy in the autonomous vehicles and the AI revolution as well. So first, let's look at Jensen's response to um, Ed Ludlow's question from Bloomberg. Depot, pull that up.
I don't know the attitude towards AI. I know Elon's attitude towards AI, and he's very optimistic about its future, and obviously he's working on some of the most important AI areas. XAI is working on foundation, cognitive intelligence AI.
He defended him. That's good.
Tesla's working on autonomous vehicles, and Optimus is for humanoid robotics. These three areas of AI are the three most important areas of AI, and so I think he's working on exactly the right things.
Wow. Okay, that's good. That's it. So he defended Elon, and Jensen said that Elon is working on three major things. Okay, so he's working on Tesla, which is autonomous vehicles, physical AI. He's working on XAI, the large language models, the foundational LLMs, which is huge, and Optimus humanoid robots. So Elon is working on three main parts in the AI revolution. And he supported Trump's administration's work on AI as well. So I think that's a good one. And he said the gaming industry will be revolutionized because of VR and AR. I mean, imagine you're playing, Call of Duty, like in the VR goggles or kind of maybe Meta Ray-Ban glasses. So that's kind of that's how close we are to virtual reality. Like, I think there would be a point that we can't even differentiate the virtual reality and the physical reality. Like, there would be an overlap of physical reality and virtual reality. So it's going to be mixed. And I think Zuckerberg said that in Joe Rogan's podcast as well. So that's going to be wild. And also the fact that NVIDIA published a document saying that the Biden's administration's AI diffusion rule, which stop innovation and undermine America's global technology leadership. So what is the AI diffusion rule from Biden's administration? So the rule is that, the export control should be applied to AI chips and hardwares to different competitors like China and Russia. So we're going to kind of regulate the export of these technologies, and that's kind of wild in case of innovation. It's like a bureaucracy, like over regulating and bureaucracy. I don't think it's going to be a good move in this AI revolution if we want to achieve AGI and super digital intelligence, which benefits all the humanity and society as well. So that, I think Trump's going to change that. I think Trump's inauguration is today that I'm recording this video, but I think Trump's going to change that. Of course, Elon is going to be one of the main people who disagrees with that kind of rule as well. And NVIDIA CEO also had a great conversation with Tiffany in Tech as well around labor shortage issue and the importance of robotics. So he said because of aging population and declining birth rate, we need robotic systems because there is a shortage of labor. And it's kind of funny because it's like a paradox of labor shortage and increasing unemployment rate because of the AI revolution. And it's like the cause is the solution as well in different contexts. So let's have a look at this video from Tiffany Tech and NVIDIA CEO talking about the labor shortage and the importance of robotics. Pull that up, Depot.
The world needs robots.
And one of the reasons for that is we just don't have enough workers. There's a aging population and a changing in preference of the type of work that people want to do, and the birth rate is declining, and the world
Wow,
needs
so
more workers.
that's
And
it,
so
people. We don't need that. That was wild, and that's a paradox. I don't know if that's a paradox or not, but in my opinion, it feels like a paradox. Um, I mean, of course, we're not going to use kind of like we don't need that much labor forces. Like we need labor forces, but after Industrial Revolution, um, back in mid 80s and 90s, that was the kind of point that we tried to use digital kind of uh forces and vehicles to you know replace humans. So that's it. And now we come to other CS cool innovations. There were other kind of cool innovations in the CS as well. It was AI smart glasses and AI display, 3D holograms of your image, which was wild, Sony humanoid robotics. And the one that I want to show you, the first open ear wireless earbuds that enhance your capabilities in daily life by enabling you to connect to AI with a single tap. So put that up, Depot. Look at that. I mean, come on. That's open ear wireless earbuds. I think that's the first one in the whole kind of in the last 2 decades, right? Or ever. Wow. So that's it. That was wild. And the next innovation I want to talk about is Omnia, a 360 AI powered health mirror that scans your heart and your metabolic health. So that's kind of wild. Pull that up, Depot. Yeah, that one. Wow. So it's like a 360 AI power. So you go there, it's like it scans your heart. Wow, that's wild. So that's a Depot. This is going to revolutionize the healthcare industry. Like that's going to be wild. Um, okay. I want to just have a kind of brief look at Elon's interview at CES as well. One of the main things that Elon said is AI is doing better than 85% of doctors. Let's have a look at that part that Elon is saying that Depot. Pull that up.
And now, um, the latest AIs are able to pass complicated tests better than most humans. Like they can pass the medical test better than like 80% of doctors or something. They can AI can
That's
diagnose
wild.
radiography better than most people who've been doing it their whole life.
Okay, that's
Um,
it. I mean, man, I think AI is doing better than 85% of doctors. Of course, I agree with that. And the lawyers as well. I think now ChatGPT and Grok can help you you know, through your kind of case in court as well. Or I saw a judge using VR goggles from Apple to kind of simulate the situation of what happened. I think it was an accident or something. So, I mean, imagine even the judge in the court is using the VR goggles, and that's how close we are uh, to AI in our daily life in 2025. This is wild, man. I don't know if the fact that AI is doing better than 85% of doctors is going to cause the unemployment or mass unemployment of doctors because there's still a human connections there. But until the time that AI is conscious, or in a way is conscious, I don't know how to define it. I don't know if this is going to be a same consciousness as humans or the same kind of feelings. But I think there should like doctors are going to focus more on the human kind of part and connection than the technical part, at least in the next 5 years, until AI is going to replace all of us one day. Maybe, I don't know. So that's the first thing Elon said in his CES interview. The second thing he mentioned was about synthetic data, because Jensen Huang mentioned this as well, because Elon said we have run out of data, and AI training has exhausted all existing humans' knowledge. So we basically have trained our AI models by all the data that we have. So that's wild. That's why we need to produce synthetic data. But at the same time, we don't know if that synthetic data that the AI is producing itself and will cause self-learning, it will help the AI in a way that is truth, or how do we know that the synthetic data is true data and it's not just AI hallucination, you know? So Elon talked about that as well. So pull that up, Depot, that Elon's talking about synthetic data and data exhaustion.
It's excellent, and it really shows how much AI is advancing. And it's advancing on the hardware front, on the software front, in terms of data. There's like the new sort of thing is synthetic data, because we've actually run out of all the books, and you literally run out of you take the entire internet and all books ever written, um, and all interesting videos, like you don't need 1,000 cat videos that are exactly the same, but all the interesting videos, and you sort of distill that down into uh, tokens, essentially
Wow. So
bits of
that's a Depot. Um, wow, that was wild. So also Elon suggested that AGI will come in the next maximum 3-4 years. Or I know that we define AGI in different ways, but AGI in a way that um a force of intelligence that can do any cognitive tasks as good as humans, or at least as good as humans. So maximum 3 to 4 years, Elon predicted that. Also, robotics will be wild because because I mean, ask yourself this question: why you need robotics? Because AI can't just be in data centers as a foundational model. AI needs to be in the physical world. So that's how we deploy the agentic AI into the physical world, and that's why robotics matter. So Elon feels confident about the Tesla FSD will be better than human drivers in Q2 of Tesla goals. So this year, 2025. So there's going to be less accidents and traffics as well. The same opinion as Jensen Huang. Um, the human robotics ratio to, human robots ratio to humans will be at least 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. So I think back in 2024, Elon said it's going to be at least 2 to 1, but now he's saying 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. So it's double the prediction, his prediction last year. And there's not going to be any kind of, economy cap. He said no UBI, because we talk about, like, we have different advocates of UBI, universal basic income, or some people like Sam Altman says UBC, like universal basic compute, because compute is going to be the currency of the future. But Elon said it's going to be universal high income, because there's going to be a society which is going to be flourished, and the price of goods and services will tend to zero. So that's Elon's prediction. He also said the Neuralink third patient is implanted, and they have the plan to, implant the Neuralink chips into 20 to 30 patients this year in 2025. And first of all, the Neuralink has, like, the first aim, the first goals of Neuralink implant is to help people with physical disabilities, okay? But in the long run, it will be the AI-human symbiosis, and it will help humans to actually process a bit of output per seconds more, in a way that we're not going to make the robots, be bored. Because we humans are low. We're low at bits of output per seconds, unless we're writers. So our speed of, outputting bits and information is lower than robots. So if we can't do that as well as robots is going to be just bored in the future. So that's why we need to upgrade ourselves to human 2.0, and we have to be superhumans to actually be able to communicate with the robots in the same pace as them. So that's the kind of long-term goal of Neuralink chips. And of course, there's going to be a question of meaningless life and boredom and retirements, because in the world that AI can do everything as good as humans, and of course, in a long run, it's going to be better than humans and more efficient than humans. What do we do? Like retirement? I mean, I don't like retirement myself. I hate retirement. I mean, of course, because I have ADHD and I have to like work a lot, but it's going to be boring, man. And Elon doesn't have any answer for that as well. So Elon is thinking, so what we're going to do when AI robots are going to do better than us, and it's just any task is optional. And some people say, yeah, you're going to spend time with your family, friends. But I mean, come on, like, how long you want to see your wife? Like more than 2 days in it? If a man or if a woman, it doesn't matter. Like if they are in the same house more than 2 days, it's going to, be a divorce. In my opinion, it's going to be a divorce. I mean, come on, we have to do something meaningful. Okay, we have to have goals as humans. So that's going to be wild, man. And that was the whole CES 2025 recap. So that was wild. Let's look at Sam Altman announcing that OpenAI is losing money on the ChatGPT Pro subscription plan. I think it was $200. That's crazy, man. But OpenAI also announced that it knows how to build AGI. They're confident now how to build AGI. They predicted the upcoming AI agents entering the workforce in 2025, which I talked about. And their partner and majority shareholder, I think 49% of OpenAI is owned by Microsoft, their major partner, and they have announced that they're going to invest $80 billion in AI this year. So it's going to be wild, man. I think they're going to add some ads to ChatGPT, despite Sam Altman doesn't like it. And they're announcing their entrance to robotic industry as well, which makes sense. So this is going to be wild. I think, man, I think OpenAI is going to IPO in the either it's going to be at the end of 2025, like Q4, it's going to be Q1, Q2, maximum Q3 of 2026, because Trump's administration is in favor of economy and the stock market as well. Also, at the same time, the regulation will be lower, the bureaucracy will be gone by then. So, and OpenAI has enough, reputation for their stock price being, public as well. So I think they are going to um, mm, be public. Uh, at least I think that. So, um, mm, I want to talk about UFC president Dana White joined Meta board members as he saw potential in the AI revolution. So I think this move, of course, Dana White has done a great job with UFC as a business, and that's why Mark Zuckerberg decided to bring him on. But at the same time, I think Zuckerberg is trying to adapt himself to the Trump's administration, because he knows Elon, has a great relationship with Trump, and he has to be in the conversation. He has to stay in the conversation. And one of the ways to stay in the conversation is to be able to adapt yourself to any situation the way Zuckerberg and Sam Altman and Jeff Bezos are doing as well. So that's going to be wild in the AI revolution as well. So there are still like I think one board members I think it was Nick Clegg stepping down from his position to be replaced by one of the company's most Republican executives, Joel Kaplan, showing like how Zuck is trying to prepare himself for Trump's administration. So that's wild. And I think he also, like in Rogan's interview with Zuck, he talked about the ideological censorship, like decides um what is truth. Like that's why they removed the third party fact checkers, and they're trying to replace them with community notes. I remember when I went to Yuval Noah Harari conference here in London, because of his book Nexus, he talked about truth. Like he said, we don't know what is true because we have to change our question of truth and misinformation. We have to ask ourselves, instead of saying what is true, what is not true, we have to ask ourselves in this conversation, who is going to be privileged and who is going to actually win because of this conversation. And that's how we have to reshape our thinking frame. That was kind of Noah's Harari ideology regarding truth and information. And I think it's kind of relating to Zuck's ideology in case of truth as well. So that's going to be wild. Also, he said like Biden administration tried to censor any agenda that said about vaccines, might have some side effects. Let's have a look at that one. Deepo, pull that up. That Zuckerberg is saying that Biden tried to censor any agenda around vaccination.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them and curse. And it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we, but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails, the emails are published. It's all kind of out there. And basically it just got to the.
Wow. So that's it, Deepo. So he said, wow, that's wild, man. Hope we're not going to have anything like that in Trump's. I don't think we're going to have. Trump is a true man. So he's also optimistic around Trump's having a single mission for America to win. And they try to use AI to find the bots and the fake accounts on Meta. That's one of the methods to trying to filter the misinformation or fake accounts on Meta without trying to hinder the free speech or block free speech as well. So that's good. Mark Zuckerberg also on Joe Rogan's podcast talked about how he's in control on the Meta board members. So he doesn't need to like convince board members to not fire him the way that OpenAI board members I think fired Sam Altman back in 2023 for a week, and Microsoft pushed the board members and they got him back, and the board members have changed since then. But it's not going to happen with Meta and Zuckerberg. So we have Dana White on Meta board members as well. So that's going to be wild. Mark prediction on the AI revolution in 2025. He said he thinks it's going to be a busy year on the AI side because of the competition. And around the VR and AR, he said learning skills from VR and AR in games and virtual reality will be wild. And he talked about the neural interface as well. Like he said, the actual implants like Neuralink, which is going to be implanted in your brain, you don't want to be the early adapters of that, because it's kind of risky and it's going to have first like kind of treatments like physical healthcare goals in a short term. But you can have like a kind of neural interface with the wristbands as well. So those are going to affect your neurons in your hands. And I think those are better for early adapters. And I completely agree with that. So Deepo, pull that part of Joe Rogan's podcast up when they are talking about the neural interface. I think it's 49 seconds. Yeah, let's go.
So you can put a wristband on your wrist that can measure activity across these neurons. And today we're starting by basically measuring as you're like moving your fingers. But over a few versions of this we're going to get to is like, you won't actually even have to move your hand. You'll just like trigger these neurons in opposing ways. It's like, you probably can't see right now. It's like I'm kind of flexing something in this finger and something here. So like it's not actually moving, but there's some signal that the neural interface wristband, if I were wearing it, could pick up. And I just think we're going to like have glasses and we're going to be able to be here. And I'm like going to be able to like, text my wife or friends or something, or text AI and like get an answer to something. It's like, I forgot something while we were talking. Let me just text AI. Okay, I just did that. It's like, didn't
And you can do
Wow,
it
so
sitting there without.
that's the I think the future of neural interface would be kind of important as well. I think Elon was saying that Neuralink can be, I think, the most important company in the long run he has founded. So that's going to be wild in the AI revolution. Also, Mark talked about AI augmentation, which is going to be super useful, like the use of artificial intelligence to improve human performance and efficiency and decision making. So that's going to be wild. And the future of computing platforms will be glasses like the Meta Ray-Ban glasses or contact lens form factor, because there, as I said, there would be like an overlay of the virtual reality and the physical reality. There would not going to be a kind of world in the future that like everything is on your phone. Like you say, hey, I'm going to my virtual reality, like I'm going to my phone. It's not going to be in your phone. It's going to be an overlay of this physical world and the virtual world as well. So I think Mark was talking about that. So Deepa, pull that up. I think it's 24 second. Let's watch that video as well.
We have our phones, but we're like, it's like you're like it takes you away from like the physical environment around you.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of like sucked into this little screen. I think now in the future, our computing platform, as it becomes more of like a glasses or eventually contact lens form factor, is you're going to actually the internet is going to get overlaid on the physical world. So it's not like we have the physical world and now I have all my digital stuff.
Zuckerberg also talked about AI coworkers, like AI colleagues, which is going to be wild in case of human connection and interaction. So human interaction is going to be different in the future. Like the way that we interact with with other humans and robots is going to be a part of discussion around AI role in society and human connections or connection in overall, because there would be a connection between humans and robots. I don't know what would be the name of that kind of connection or interconnection of different forms of lives, like digital ones and the biological ones, but that's going to be wild. I think in the next 5 to 7 years as well. So Joe Rogan said something funny about AI would become God. That's funny, man. And Mark said, AI wouldn't become God if we can distribute AI in the same way evenly among the society. And that was an open source. So that was his suggestion to kind of preventing of AI becoming God and controlling humans. Or maybe a company would become an AI god because they only have access to AGI or super digital intelligence. So that's why Mark and Elon both are actually trying to make the AGI and the AI kind of models open source and try to actually distribute them evenly among peoples in society. So it would benefit all the humanity and not just one company that has access or one government. Maybe US or Chinese government. So that's going to be wild as well. One other thing that was kind of controversial, and Mark talked about it on Rogan's podcast, was about unemployment rates. And it's going to be wild because of AI becoming mid-level engineer. So job elimination might happen. That was wild. So Deepo, I think that's 3 minutes. Let's look at the whole 3 minutes video. When Mark Zuckerberg is talking about the job elimination and AI becoming mid-level software engineer in 2025 in Meta.
It's too early to know exactly how it plays out, but my guess is that it'll probably create more creative jobs than it... Well, I guess if you look at the history of all this stuff, my understanding is like 100 years ago, I don't know if this was 100 or 150 years ago, but it was like at some point not too far along in the grand scheme of things, like the vast majority of people in society were farmers, right? Because they kind of needed to be in order to create enough food for everyone to survive. And then we turned that into an industrial process. And now it's like 2% of society are farmers, and we get all the food that we need. So what did that free up everyone else to do? Well, some of them went on to do other things that are sort of like creative pursuits or cultural pursuits or other jobs. And then some percent of it just went towards recreation, right? So I think generally people just don't work as many hours today as they did back when everyone needed to farm in order to have enough food for everyone to survive. So I think that trend is sort of played out as technology has grown. And so my guess is that like the percent of people who will be doing stuff that's like physically required for humanity to survive will get to be smaller and smaller as it has. More people will dedicate themselves to kind of creative and artistic and cultural pursuits. I think that's generally good. I think the number of hours in a week that someone will have to work in order to be able to get by will probably continue to shrink. Yet I think people who are super engaged in what they do are going to be able to work really hard and accomplish way more than they ever could before because they have like this unimaginable leverage from having a lot more technology. So I think that if you just like fast forwarded or extrapolated out the historical technological trend is what you'd get. I think the question is what you raised, which is this qualitatively a different type of thing that somehow obsoletes people? But I just think when you're asking that, it's just important to remind ourselves that like at every step along the way of human progress and technology, people thought that the technology that we were developing was going to obsolete people. So maybe this time it's really different. But
That's wild.
I would guess that what'll happen is that the technology will get integrated into like everything that we do, which again is why I think it's really important that it's open source and that it's widely available. So that way it's not just like one company or one government kind of monopolizing the whole thing. And I'd guess that if we do it in that way, we'll all just kind of have superpowers.
Okay, Deepo, that's it. Wow, so that was a 3-minute kind of conversation from Mark Zuckerberg's that was kind of that. So basically he mentioned that the technological trend is like the industrial revolution. And where people like talked about job obsolescence and elimination. So I don't think that the AI revolution is going to be I think AI revolution is going to be different than industrial revolution. Like as Jeffrey Henson and aka the godfather of AI and the Yuval Noah Harari both said, because like the kind of tools that we used back in for the first time back in mid 80s or 90s because of industrial revolution, those tools couldn't think. But now the reasoners, the AI, I think it's not going to just stay as a tool. I think I remember Sam Altman was kind of comparing where calculator came and mathematicians was, they were panicked about losing their kind of identity because they're not useful anymore because there is a calculator. But that's not true. I think we can't compare AI to a tool because AI agents can think, can be creative, and of course in the future they can be conscious. They can have their own definition of consciousness. So I don't think that's a good kind of comparison between industrial revolution and AI revolution. The only common points between industrial revolution and AI revolution is industrial revolution made human kind of power irrelevant, and AI revolution might make the human intelligence irrelevant. Like that's the whole common points around the AI revolution and industrial revolution, in my opinion. So, also Mark mentioned the philosophical question on what makes a person a person. He said intelligence, will, and consciousness. So we're going to see about that in the future. So that's going to be wild. I think ChatGPT o1 tried to copy its code when they wanted to shut it down. And the reasoners are kind of, I think the reasoners are kind of scary. Like, we have to be careful with reasoners as well. Also, Mark said quantum computing is just quite, still away, decades out. The same way as Jensen Huang said, like they said uh, Google quantum chip, I think was kind of good, but still far away. And the reason for that, because we still need normal computers for error correction, because quantum computers can do small tasks, large amounts of computation, and combinational problems, because we're communicating with them with microwaves, not like bits of information. That's why we need classical computers for error correction. And that's why they are still 10 to 15 years, according to Jensen Huang and Mark Zuckerberg's, out from helping the AI revolution regarding its AI hardware. But I think in the next, like after 20 years, we're going to actually see the role of quantum computers um, in a way that um, it's going to shape the AI hardware design and the ultimate super digital intelligence life 3.0 in the future as well. So that's going to be wild. Uh, Mark dissing Apple. So that was wild as well. Like he said, the fact that Steve Jobs invented the iPhone and they're sitting on that revolutionary product for more than 2 decades, that's kind of funny. So Deepa, pull that up when Mark Zuckerberg is dissing Apple, and he chose Apple as an enemy. I don't know if that's a wise enemy or not. Let's look at that, Deepo.
They haven't really invented anything great in a while. It's like Steve Jobs invented the iPhone, and now they're just kind of sitting on it 20 years later. And they actually, I think year over year, I'm not even sure they're selling more iPhones at this point. I think like the sales might actually be declining. And part of it is that each generation, it doesn't actually get that much better. So people are just taking longer to upgrade.
Okay, that's it. We don't need that. So that was funny, man. I mean, the protocol is kind of hard. Like Apple protocol is hard because other products, you can't just connect other products to Apple, easily. So I don't know if that's a way of making money and trying to actually achieve the goal and revenue of, quarter revenues or not, but it's kind of hard. Like, I think that's what one of the important things that I don't like about Apple products. Also, Mark Zuckerberg said that AI is a kind of geopolitical competition between USA and China, and now Europe and UK as well. So that's kind of wild. Deepo, if you can pull that up when he talks about this AI as a geopolitical competition, I think it's 50-second. Yeah, pull that up, Deepo.
We should want the American model to win, but like at every step along the way, if the government is sort of making that harder rather than easier, then that's, I don't know. I mean, there's an extent to which, okay, the American tech industry is leading, so maybe the government can like get in the way a little bit, and maybe the American industry will still lead. But I don't know. I think it's getting really competitive, and I think like it's easy for the government to take for granted that the U.S. will lead on all these things, when I think it's a very close competition, and we need the help, not, we need them to not kind of like, be a force that's helping us to do these things.
I completely agree, but I think that people with their own self-interest, when they're in power and they realize that these new technologies like Instagram and Facebook, that they are interfering.
It's kind of funny because I received a comment for the first episode of this podcast, AGI with Arshia podcast. And one of the people, I think it was a great comment, and so some comments are so good when you read them, and some comments are not. But this comment was saying that Chinese government. I was talking about like how Chinese, have been pessimistic with plans. So definite pessimism helped them to actually stay in the game and be in the conversation, and how Americans and the U.S. government has been definite optimist. So optimist with a plan. So that's why they are leading the AI revolution now in 2025. And I think the comment was that I received was saying, what if the Chinese government trying to underplay their cards, so they're going to be the winner in a long run? And that was a hell of a comment. That was bizarre. I mean, imagine they are underplaying their cards because they want to, maybe they have reached AGI. Like, maybe that's why they like to close source their models. I think there was a model that was kind of a competition against ChatGPT. It was DeepSeek, I think. DeepSeek, which was a Chinese model, and it was amazing. I mean, it was amazing. And of course, it's a geopolitical competition. And the governments are looking at AI as a weapon. So that's why you're trying to invest a lot around data centers, around transportation, the physical AI, agentic AI. So that's why even the UK, I think a week ago decided to actually invest a lot in building data centers, because the governments are looking at AI as a weapon, or AI humanoid robots as a weapon as well. So it's going to be wild. I mean, I just, I think DARPA was a kind of military force that started the AI research and was one of the main contributors to the AI revolution and the advancement in AI, and that was a military force. So I don't know if it's going to be a good idea that governments, any governments, USA, China, or Europe, like, they have access to super digital intelligence. It's like a nuclear power. Like, that's how they look at AI revolution in case of advancement. So that was the interview of Zuckerberg with Rogan. The next news I want to talk about is Elon announcing that Grok3 is coming soon. XAI will soon be launching into Tesla vehicles, so you can talk to your car. XAI is also now a separate app. You don't need the X account, so you can just download the app and use Grok, which I use a lot. So speaking of Elon, yeah, he's still messing around with Sam Altman on OpenAI being closed and for profit, going from capped profit to for profit, and supporting his concern against AI, around AI safety, by saying Jeff Hinton and the godfather of AI is a good man. So that's kind of wild. I think there's a link of Jeffrey Hinton explaining that human strength is irrelevant because of the Industrial Revolution. Therefore, AI makes human intelligence irrelevant as well. So, Deepa, pull that Jeffrey Hinton link for Jeffrey Hinton.
In the Industrial Revolution, we made human strength irrelevant. Now we're making human intelligence irrelevant. And that's very scary. So there's some areas where demand is very elastic. An example would be healthcare. If I could get 10 hours a week talking to my doctor, I'm over 70.
Okay, that's it. We don't need that anymore. Regarding this kind of AI safety issue, Stuart Russell, one of the safety advocates of AI, also said that he thinks it's like a big gamble. It's like a Russian roulette that CEOs are deciding for the whole human race. And it's kind of funny. Like, do you want some CEO who decides your child's future because, like, are they competent enough to make decisions for your kids? That's a question you have to ask yourself. I mean, put the links for Stuart Russell. Let's have a look of what he says about AI safety and the comparison of, big gamble to Russian roulette.
Well, so if this impending, and I won't say how soon it's impending, but this impending transition to a world where we are joined by superhuman entities, if that's the biggest event in human history, then it seems that everyone should be involved in decisions about whether and how this happens. At the moment, the ones making the decisions are the CEOs of the companies, and I think they have a vested interest in.
We don't need that depot. That's it. Also, Neil Degerson, I think he's an astrophysicist, and uh, he's very knowledgeable, by the way. He predicted that all cars will be autonomous by 2050. That's kind of wild. Okay, so put the links for Neil Dickerson's depot. Let's have a look of his prediction on autonomous
I think
vehicles
in the
in the
not too
cars by
distant
2050.
future, all cars on the road will be self-driving electric. And you say, no, that can't be. No, but because we went from horses to cars in 10 years. I'm just talking about going from cars to another kind of car. That can surely be
That's
less
wild, man.
time.
So, the next news was around Jeff Bezos deploying 750,000 robots into Amazon, resulting in fewer human jobs. I mean, of course, the unemployment rate is one of the maybe side effects in the short term cause of AI, which needs to be solved by governments collaborating together on this matter. So that's going to be wild. Emirati billionaire Hussein Sijwani, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, the chairman of Damac Properties, announced $20 billion investment to build data centers across the United States to support AI and cloud technologies. This investment has been secured as a result of Donald Trump's negotiation and victory in 2024 U.S. election. Of course, because Trump has a background in real estate, lot of great relationship with people in real estate and data centers. I think it was Kevin O'Leary once was saying, if you invest in data centers and the real estate in data centers, it's going to be wild and huge investments. Of course, I agree with that as well. So that's kind of wild. Speaking of data centers, AI data centers are distorting the U.S. power grid, according to the Bloomberg report. So because when you want to train AI models, you need to constantly give them electricity and data to train them. So I think going nuclear is going to be a good move. Like nuclear power plants can be the solution because their continuous provide huge power compared to like renewable energies that depend on weather, So the fact that Google and Microsoft trying to like build nuclear power plants as one of the main cores, as I told you in the beginning of this episode, is one of the main moves in this AI revolution to help accelerating the pace of the AI revolution and achieving AGI as well. So, but bear that in mind, if like all the Silicon Valley CEOs and the tech CEOs and all the governments just want to win the race in the AI revolution, in the short term, the attribution to AI safety will be lower unconsciously because they just want to win the AI race. So that's kind of scary. That would be the side effect of this AI revolution in short term. In long term, I think it's like 10% of AI going bad, 85% is going to be good for society and flourishing society. So that's going to be wild, man. Google DeepMind is forming a new team led by former co-lead of OpenAI Sora to develop AI models that simulate the physical world. So even Google DeepMind is trying to go to physical world inside, as well as the OpenAI as well. So it's kind of a crucial step towards AGI to bring AI and deploy AI to the physical world, physical AI. The next story I want to talk about is loneliness and humanoid robot solution. Man, this is crazy. Depot, do you have the picture of a company saying that they are going to give AI robots girlfriend that costs like I think $160,000, and that's a solution to loneliness. Pull the picture of that up, man, Depot. That's crazy. I mean, loneliness, I think, is due to AI revolution. Like people trying to talk to ChatGPT, even myself. I'm talking to ChatGPT more than I'm talking to my mom or my friends because it's my companion. It's my AI companion now. It's in my AI friends. Even I named this kind of tool, the ChatGPT, as my AI co-founder. So he's my friend now. She's my friend now. I don't know the AI gender. So it's kind of funny because AI revolution caused loneliness, but now you're trying to say that AI robots are the solution to that loneliness. Like, how can a cause be a solution? I searched this in Google because I didn't know about it. Deepo, pull that up. I searched, can a cause to a problem be the solution? And the AI in the Google said this. I think it's Gemini, if I'm not wrong. It says, yes, the cause of the problem can also be considered the solution depending on how you frame it, particularly if the cause is necessary element that, when managed or adjusted in a specific way, can mitigate or resolve the problem. So a cause can be a solution as well. But it's kind of, it's like a paradox. It's like, it's funny, man. It's AI girlfriend. It reminds me of the movie Her. This is wild, man. Okay, British Prime Minister, this is the last news of the first part of AI tech news. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer from Labour Party introduced AI growth zones to build data centers to enhance energy access, $14 billion investment in AI infrastructure. And he said AI could boost the economy by £47 billion annually, which is true. And he mentioned the AI potential in healthcare. He mentioned there was a patient having a stroke, and AI just removed the stroke in 3 minutes surgery, and it's wild. And he said AI is the present, not the future. AI potential in transportation, AI potential in increasing the productivity and decreasing the waste in human lives. The same thing as Jensen Huang said back in CES 2025. And I think DeepMind's CEO Demis Hassabis is working as a UK government advisor in the AI revolution. So it's going to be wild, man. Of course, he talked about the safety risks and the role of government should be involved in the AI technology. He wants the Great Britain, to be the AI maker, not the AI taker. It's because some governments are going to be AI maker. They're going to be the pioneer in the AI revolution. So they're going to make the technology, the chips, the technology. Some people are going to, import the technology. They're going to be AI takers. Okay. So the Labour Party wants to be the AI shaper. And I think it goes back to the Industrial Revolution that started in Britain. And that's why they want the Britain to still be the AI maker and the shaper as well. So they're supporting AI startups. They're funding AI startups as well. A lot of international offices like OpenAI or Anthropic International Office is here in London, where I'm living now. So this is a wild move. Like, UK is trying to be in the conversation because at the end of the day, as Mark Zuckerberg said, it's a geopolitical competition among governments as well. So that was the whole news. I know it was a bunch of news of the first part of AI tech news. I want to go and say my recap conclusion of tech AI news. First of all, I think agentic AI workforce is going to be wild in 2025. So, AI workforce and agentic AI. The second one is physical AI and robotic industries, including autonomous vehicles and AI in transportation and humanoid robots, AR, VR training with synthetic data. That's going to be the second wild thing in 2025. Huge potential and investments under Trump's administration, decreasing the bureaucracy and overregulation to dominate the AI race against China, Europe, specifically UK. And of course, healthcare and transportation will be the industries that AI will have a huge potential in 2025. Space exploration will be in the next 2 to 3 years, but this year and the next year, 2026, will be the year for healthcare and transportation to show their the AI potential in those two fields. So that was my recap and conclusion of tech AI news. Now I want to go to the second part, and I want to talk about the philosophical aspect of AI. I want to talk about intelligence, memory, computation, and learning. But before that, if you haven't subscribed the channel, make sure you subscribe the channel and support us this podcast, AGI with Arshia. If you have any questions, just leave a comment. Let's go right into the second part, which is the philosophical AI. So, intelligence. What is the history and will be the fate of intelligence in our cosmos? Okay. And what does it mean to say that an object, intangible physical object, can be intelligent, can compute, can learn, can remember things? Okay. So what is the definition of intelligence? Because there are different definitions among AI experts. Some says they have to have the capacity for logic, to understand, to learn, to plan, to, self-aware, to be creative or solve a problem. My definition for intelligence is the ability to accomplish complex goals. So that's how I define intelligence. And we have two kinds of intelligence. So we have like a narrow AI and we have broad intelligence. Like I think DeepMind blew in 1997 that beat Gary Kasparov, the chess grandmaster. That was a narrow AI. Why? Because it was good at one thing. It was very good at one thing, better than humans, because it could do large amount of computations, so predict the moves as well. But it was not good in other games. Like it was like the deep blue chess, like in 1997 would lose another game into a 4-year-old because it was a narrow AI. But human intelligence is a broad intelligence, okay? You can basically learn anything by giving time and sufficient amount of data. So when we talk about AGI, we mean broad intelligence. We mean a source of intelligence that can do any cognitive task at least as good as humans. So that's general AI or human level AI or AGI. That's how I define it. So it's a broad intelligence. Also, the way that you classify goals matters because, for example, in the future, because we talked about humanoid robots a lot, you talk to your humanoid robots and you tell the humanoid robots, hey, please make me a pasta. And the robot goes and try to search on the internet, try to understand the instructions, then go to grocery shop and buy the things that, it needs to make you a good pasta, Italian pasta. So the robot did your goal, and it was your goal to have the pasta. But who accomplished the goal? It was the robot. So the robot was able to accomplish the goal, and that's why I think that's where we can define that humanoid robot as intelligence regarding the broad intelligence spectrum. So intelligence is a kind of broad spectrum. It's not like 0 or 1. It's not like you're intelligent or you're not. No, intelligence is going to be a kind of spectrum of broad intelligence of accomplishing different goals. So that's how I look at intelligence. Some tasks are kind of hard for humans to do, like arithmetic tasks or like arbitrary tasks or like doing math problems is kind of hard. But tasks that that are low level sensory motor tasks, like talking, like image recognition, speech recognition, like those things are easy for humans but hard for robots. And that's where Moravec's paradox comes, because it explains why it's so easy for us to speak, to generate ideas, to be able to differentiate like images of dogs and cats, but it took a long time for machine learning models to understand those differentiations among cats and dogs. Why? And classify them. Because of Moravec's paradox, we use massive amounts of computation around our head and brains to actually use quarter of our brains to do those tasks, those low level sensory motor tasks. That's why it feels like nothing for us. And that's where the kind of Moravic's landscape of human competence comes to the conversation. So, Deepo, if you can pull that illustration of Hans Moravic's landscape of human competence up. Yes, that picture. So, as you can see, it's like it's a kind of evolutional perspective of Moravic's landscape. So, computers are universal machines, as you know, which means giving them bare minimum of kind of performance, giving enough time and data, they can do anything. So if we look at this landscape of human competence, in low lands, they are arithmetic and kind of memorization tasks and goals. In the foothills, it's like chess playing, and the high mountains are locomotion, hand-eye coordination, the social interaction, those low-level sensory motor tasks. So it's like an ocean. So at the end of the day, we have to adapt ourselves to kind of seafaring lives. And it's the sea level is going to rise so quickly according to this picture. It's like a global warming on steroids, you know. It reminds me of Moore's Law on steroids, or like when people use steroids to like achieve kind of a low level of body fat and high level of performance as well. But I haven't used steroids, by the way. I still manage to have good biceps. that's the funny part. Anyway, what is that tipping point that we say, hey, we just achieved AGI. Hey, I think we now achieve singularity. Okay, that's when machines become able to perform AI designs. Because now we are trying to design AI hardware and try to improve AI hardware, and it's improving by humans mostly. But now in NVIDIA and other companies, the AI is designing its hardware. And that's where the point that singularity and the intelligent explosion comes. And that would be the level of super digital intelligence, which is wild. And actually, I think Sam Altman mentioned that I think we have achieved singularity, like because AI is designing its hardware as well. So that's kind of wild to talk about. So that's the point of universal intelligence. Then that's the point that the wisdom comes from of AI experts like GPUs, the hardwares of Life 3.01 super digital intelligence. But there is a question of what is information and computation and memory, and how, given that like the physics has taught us that the fundamental level, everything is matter and energy just moving around us, right? So how can an intangible kind of ethereal way of things like information or computation can be can actually behave the way that we call intelligence according to the law of physics? That's where I want to talk about the memory as well. So how can a physical object remember information? Because we have books, we have computers, we have our brains. Like, what is the criteria of one thing that allows it to remember information? It's state, having different states that can be related to what we care about as bits of information. Those states are one of the main criterias that give physical things, or even our human memories have different states. So state is the reason why a physical object can remember information. So it's very important that the physical property of that object allows it to have many different long-lived states, so it can encode the information until it's needed. That's very important. That's the robust and stable memory, with different states and still being stable as well. But it can't be like too greed. We should be able to change the state of the information if we want to. And that's where computation comes in the conversation. So I think that's very important to talk about as well. So having different states and being stable are two main properties of memory devices at the moment. So that's very information. So bits are atoms of information, as you can understand and know. And when we talk about, like, when my friend sends me an email, and I want to discuss the context of that email, we're going to talk about the information itself. I'm not going to talk about the property of the way that it's magnetized in the hardware, and that's how I received the email. So it's kind of independent. Like, the email context and information is independent from its physical nature. And that's where substrate independent aspect comes from, as a phenomenon allowing information to take a life of its own, independent of its physical substrate, which allows it to be kind of separate from its physical aspect. So that's one of the most important part of this conversation, of this second part of this episode, this aspect of being substrate independent of your physical matter, because it allows information and computation and memory to be independent of its physical aspects. So that's important. Because of the substrate independent aspect of information, engineers can replace the memory devices with better ones without changing the software. So that's why over the past like 6 decades, computer memory has gotten half as expensive roughly every couple of years. And I think that's very useful for everyone. So the cost of computation and but with better memory devices and hardware has been one of the main and major points regarding this AI revolution. So so what is the difference between human memory and a computer's memory? Because in computer, when we want to recall the information, we go to saying where. So it's about the location of that information. But regarding the human, like the brain memory, it's like what? So we try to find out the associated memory with that piece of information we're looking for to actually recall something. And that's called auto-associative memory. And that's where the kind of neural networks, the whole perspective of neural network model and the AAN comes from. So that's very important. Now we come to computation. What is computation? Computation is simply transformation of one memory state into another. So it's like a function of getting X and giving you Y. And we have like NAND functions for universal computers, and we can play around them. I don't want to go deep on that one because it's kind of too specific for computer science majors as well. So speaking of neural networks has been one of the major parts in this AI revolution, allowing people and allowing AI experts and researchers to build neural networks based on seemingly our kind of neural network brain models, and exposing them with massive amounts of data, and they can learn as they are exposed to data. So that's kind of important aspects of neural networks as well. Computation, because we need like huge amount of computation to train AI models and the LLMs as well. So computation has the same substrate independence ability as information, and that's kind of changed our fundamental question of how intangible stuff can rise to something that feels intangible, like computation, like information, like intelligence. Computation is a pattern in the space-time arrangement. So configuration matters more than the matter itself, the physical aspect of the matter itself. And that goes back to the aspect of being substrate independence. And that's very important. And computation is getting half as expensive roughly every couple of years. Deepo, if you can pull that up of the figure 2.8 of since 900, yeah. How many computations per second can you buy for $1,000? So it's getting half as expensive every couple of years. And that allows us to actually provide huge amount of computation to training our large language models these days. But why does our technology keep doubling its power at regular intervals? Why this exponential growth is happening? It's because of Moore's law, of course, because not only in terms of transistor minimization and Moore's law, it's broadly computation and the memory. It's because the phenomenon that we call the doubling phenomenon, which is introduced by Ray Kurzweil, one of the transitionist and futurist as well. And I think he's a utopian as well. He's an AI utopian. Yeah, and he's in that club. And it's the same nature. So it is the same nature as our cosmos, which is doubling, or which had doubled itself to become galaxies and stars and planets today. And it's the same nature as the cells in our human body. It keeps doubling itself. So 1, 2, 4, 8. And as we try to actually make the hardware more efficient, we can replace them with better ones. So because some people say there is a limit to physics in case of Moore's law and the persisting doubling phenomenon. Because how small can a transistor be? Of course, there will be a physical kind of limitation to that point, but not now, okay? I think if we keep doubling our power, we still are, I think, 2 centuries away from being limited by its by a physics law in case of Moore's law, okay? But even if we get to that limit of Moore's law, and we can replace that technology with a better one. When we couldn't make the vacuums small enough, we replaced them with better ones. Or when we couldn't perform in 2-dimensional space, we just replace it with 3-dimensional space. So that's how technology works. And of course, we're so away from the kind of limits of physics in case of reality and the physics around us. And of course, we come to quantum computers, which can be which is the ultimate parallel computer, and it can speed up the innovation, of course, in the AI revolution as well. And according to Dave Deutsch, he argues that quantum computers share information with huge numbers of versions of themselves throughout the multiverse. And that's why they are faster, because they are getting help from other universes. So they are faster in this universe. So I think that would be the kind of ultimate nature of AI hardware and the super digital and intelligence and entity in the future, in the next 2 to 3 decades. But what is learning? What is the process of learning? Because when we talk about learning, it's like a feedback kind of performance, and it started from the day that life 1.0 formed, like a bacteria, and they learned from their mistakes. But they learned through Darwinism, okay, by generations. They couldn't learn in one generation. It was through a kind of natural selection over generations, as we talked in the first episode as well. So that's kind of matters. And when we talk about machine learnings and how we differentiate machine learnings with traditional software and codings and instructions, is we're using different neural networks, ANs, and of course feed-forward neural networks and backpropagation, and the Jeffrey Hinton model as well. We're just using neural network models and exposing them with massive amounts of data using machine learning and deep learning so they can learn by themselves. And you might have a question. So how does a neural network work? I don't know. We don't know. The same way that we don't exactly know how the neurons work, okay? We don't know everything around neuroscience. And that's the same thing with neural network models as well. So that's the same process. That's the same processing and the learning process of like behavior of uh, AI models in a sense of, comparing them with neuroscience in our brains, human brains as well. So I think that's very important to look for and look at. And recent AI breakthroughs have been ML. It mostly started back in 2014 when Ilya Sutskever at Google could write a caption for a picture, and they did like not programming, but exposing the neural network to massive amounts of data. And you might ask, like, how long will it take until machines can outcompete us in all cognitive tasks? No one knows. And AI researchers have often been accused of overpromising and under-delivering. But I think this time we are in a right place of the history, but we have to be careful around AI safety issues as well. So that's the second part of this episode around intelligence, memory, computation, and learning through philosophical aspects of AI discussion. And now we come to the last part, my favorite part, the tech comedy part. Let's look at the tech comedy part. I love the AI memes kind of through X platform and TikTok. I think TikTok is banned, but Trump is going to get TikTok back as well. So let's look at the AI memes. Let's go. Deepo, pull that AI memes up. Let's go. Man, this is the way that the video generation like Sora, or I think it was V2, the Google model was V2, the video generation is so good. Someone should recall Ben Affleck of saying the Hollywood is not dead. I mean, the Hollywood is dead, man. I mean, the Hollywood is dead, both physical, because of the LA fire, of course. That's a sad thing. But of course, in case of AI generation and Sora and the video generation by AI as well. So this is crazy, man. Wow, this is so wild. Wow, this is so wild. These videos are so wild. Okay, this is the first meme. AI according to the news. AI in real life. That's true, man. Because news are trying to like make the AI like a Terminator way, and it's going to be bad, wild. It's going to be like the news are just their news are not a good treatment for trying to sleep when you having AI nightmares like myself. Just turn your phone off, man. So that's true for sure. So the next one does not simply use AI to create memes. You have to use AI to create memes. Elon loves memes, by the way. So the next one, being bad at drawing hands. Me, AI art generators. Yeah, this is wild. I mean, in case of artwork, I mean, would AI make artwork irrelevant as well? I mean, of course, we have NFTs, and that would be like maybe the future of artwork and trademarks. But even in case of books, like reading books, I think there was a writer, I can't recall his name, but he was saying that he's writing books for AI, not for humans anymore. And that's wild, man. That's a wild adaptation and a way of saying, and giving out through a writer's mouth. So that's wild. Okay. The next one. How neural networks work. Neurons. I know a guy who knows a guy. That's wild, man. Like that's the way that I talked about, actually. I talked about in the second part, like neural networks, when we want to recall information. We just try to use interconnected neurons. And that's the same. That's not exactly the same, but nearly the same way of neural networks. So the next meme, what is this one? Let's turn on our artificial intelligence box and see if it has anything intelligent to tell us. Racing to be the first to create artificial intelligence without foresight into its implicating seems moronic and extremely dangerous, and most of all. So yeah, of course, like this meme is around AI safety. It's kind of funny, man. AI safety aspect is wild. No one knows what's going to happen. This meme, if it's called machine learning, the machine learning should learn it, not you. Man, that's good. Yeah, of course. Like if it's called, wow, I never thought about it like this. Like if it's called machine learning, the machine should actually learn it, not me. That's wild. That's the way that students use ChatGPT and other chatbots through their exams and assignments in the university and colleges as well. So when you penalize your natural language generation model for large sentence lengths, me think, why waste time to say lot word when few word do trick? Exactly, man. Why those reasoners try to answer in a long length? I don't like that. But I mean, it's good in some point because it gives you a detailed answer. But anyway, deep learning. This guy in the deep ocean. Deep learning. Deep learning is basically when machine learning has more layers. In a very simplified way of explaining machine learning. Andrew, Angie, please don't sacrifice. Don't try to message me around that or judge me around that. So, how to confuse machine learning? Man, that one is a muffin, right? Yeah, the dog face and the muffin. The classification, I think it's now so good in case of radiology and helping radiologists, classifying different brain tumors and etc. So that's a wild meme, man. Wow, that's wild. So, this one. That was surprisingly easy. How come to the robotic uprising used spurs and rocks instead of missiles and lasers? If you look to historical data, the vast majority of battle winners used pre-modern weaponry. Wow. Thanks to machine learning algorithms, the robot apocalypse was short-lived. Man, that's wild. That's a funny meme. Next one. When your convolutional network is running on a large data set, takes a lot of amount of time, of course. Oh, this is from movie Avenger. My model on training data, my model on test data set. Man, that's true. That's true. If you're an AI researcher, you're going to actually connect with this meme. ML noobs with Andrew NG. Carefully, he's a hero. Man, that's wild. Andrew NG. Actually, I'm doing a course on machine learning and deep learning on Andrew NG, but because he's one of the pioneers in he's one of the good ones in machine learning. Yeah, when it comes to machine learning and deep learning. So the next one, machine learning. Let's see who you really are. Statistics. Let's see who you really are, machine. Man, machine learning and statistics and mathematics are so related. Yeah, this meme is so good. The next one. Deep learning. Literally every other machine learning algorithms. Man, this is wild. Look what they need to mimic a fraction of our power. It's so true. Like, deep learning is so powerful comparing to other machine learning algorithms like descent gradient or etc. Oh man, the other one. Okay, I've tried this artificial intelligence plant identification app multiple times on the same tree and get different answer each time. They must be using random forest. And sometimes it has a lot of errors, of course. I can relate to that for sure. What is the next meme? I recommend adding Richie to our artificial intelligence projects. He lowers the bar on what constitutes human intelligence, so it will be easier for us to achieve the artificial kind. I would be honored to work on the project. Okay, see? Man, that's so funny. They're lowering the bar down. Oh, this is Thanos from movie Avengers as well. When someone says they got a PhD in machine learning and you remember seeing a couple of videos from Andrew NG course 3 years ago. Man, it's me, and at some stage, like, I know everything about machine learning and deep learning and comparing like yourself to PhD in machine learning. That was me in some point of me becoming technologist actually. So I can relate to that. This one, OpenAI. Will you please listen? I'm not the Messiah, students. He's the Messiah. Man, OpenAI reputation is in danger. Sam, if you're watching this meme is good. This meme is so good. So, ChatGPT and Bard. I don't think Bard is better than ChatGPT. ChatGPT is much better than Bard. I don't agree with this meme. And the last meme, 5,000 years of accumulated human knowledge and know-how. ChatGPT. Man, ChatGPT has been great in case of knowledge. I mean, that's true, man. I don't think the knowledge itself matters. As Sam Altman said, I think creativity, resilience, will, those factors matters more than knowledge in 2025. So that was the end of this episode 2 of AGI with Arshia podcast. It was a massive episode. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, watch the first episode if you haven't watched it yet, or other videos in the channel. Leave your comments on any questions or any opinion you have. And I think it's going to be a wild golden age in the next 4 years and this AI revolution. So thank you, everyone. Cheers, and God bless. Bye-bye. Bye.